Listen, we've been in this a very long time, making these videos, the truth behind. I mean, I've been doing this since 2015, so we done it for over 5 years. We're in like year 6 of doing the truth behind rap beefs and stuff. Now, people wanted to know right away. This just supersedes everything immediately. Sino, you gotta do the truth behind Snoop Dogg and Eminem. What many of you don't know, and I want to say, first off, don't forget to hit the like button. A lot of you right now, I fight every day to try to get you your notifications. So definitely help me out here. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit that notification bell, and if you're not getting your notifications, let them know. Take my URL, say, well, I'm not getting my notifications for this, and I want to know why. Put the spotlight on them to do their jobs. Now, let's move forward. In 6 years of doing this, let me tell you something that you may or may not know. On this Casino for Life channel, as it stands today, my highest grossing video ever is Snoop talking about Eminem. On this channel. Now, on my other channel, I got a video that got like 25 million views. That was in a motion picture, yes. And I got paid for it. Somebody said that in there. Yeah, he's bragging like he was in the movie. I'm like, I got paid for the movie, idiot. That's what I care about. Know about you. But anyhow, I digress. Now, Eminem and Snoop. Where does this come from? What is the problem? What is the disconnect? That's the question people are trying to find out. Like, where did this come from? Why did Snoop do it in such a tone when he was talking about doing his interview, and he just went there? We're talking about top 10 artists and all of this. And I understood what Eminem was saying. When Eminem decides, whenever he drops an album, he does a sit down on his own platform, in his own show, and promotes his thing, where he knows the questions are designed to be exactly what he wants them to be. And he explains his album, which I have no problem with him doing, because some of the stuff he does is like, huh? So, anyhow, the situation came up due to the fact of this. Snoop is tired. Okay? He's tired of the disrespect. And you guys are going to be like, what do you mean? What's going on? I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you. And this is, hopefully this explains everything in full circle. Now, Eminem both have points here. Both have the right to feel the way they feel. But let's take it back to the beginning. The beginning when he first met Snoop Dogg. When Eminem came around, and he just had the first album. Hi, my name is Eminem. When he came out and was doing that album, Snoop was already basically doing his own thing. He was over there with Master P, putting out his music over there. So Snoop was dropping albums and doing stuff over there. That had nothing to do with Dre at the time. Snoop went with Aftermath. Dre didn't take Snoop with him. So when Snoop got Eminem and Eminem started blowing up, And then they decided to do a tour together and bring Snoop back, and Snoop was on the song doing the hook. That's when he first met Eminem. And during that time, they were at war with Death Row. And Eminem was in the middle of it. He was just blowing up. And they was sending threats at him, bodyguard. They were coming after Eminem, trying to get him to leave Dre, because trying to let him know Dre can't protect you in LA. You shouldn't be out here. And then they went to Hawaii. Snoop and Dre and Eminem and then Suge had flew in all them dudes from Death Row on the plane. And they came there and things is going down, rumbling. They getting up in the middle of the night. They got dudes with armed rifles, AR-15s outside their hotel door because it was getting rough. Pyrus was there in full effect. So he been in the trenches with Snoop. You know what I'm saying? So I understand how Eminem like, dude, I inherited this like war that you guys was in. You know, like he couldn't believe it. So for him, it catches him off guard. But let's look at what happened with Eminem. When he came in the game, he was very humble and respectful for those who were ahead of him. He never was putting himself on a pedestal better than all of these other guys. He was happy to be a part and be accepted into a genre that is dominated by African Americans. And African Americans have had a history of starting music and having it stripped and taken away from them by people who weren't them. In other words, Caucasians, blues, jazz, rock and roll. Everything that they've created, they've kind of stole and claimed as their own. So this is a John Doe business. Started from something that they didn't want to deal with at all. They looked at it as just screaming and noise, even though they've got like heavy metal in their home. But rap is screaming and noise. But that's neither here nor there. When this is done, he was very respectful, plus he could rap. Hip hop didn't matter what color you were. They didn't. We didn't. Nobody cared. Hey, man, he white. Beastie Boys was white as you could be. But when that music dropped, nobody cared they was white. When Brass Monkey dropped and all that, did you think anybody cared they were white? Nobody cared. If the music is dope, you are accepted. If you can rap, you are accepted. When Vanilla Ice first came out, black people were playing Vanilla Ice's music. And white people just didn't run out and buy them. Black people bought. We bought that first. Ice, ice, baby. Do, 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 do. People were stepping to it. Fraternities, black fraternities was using that as a stepping song. In schools everywhere, Vanilla Ice took off. It was the media and everything else. And once he started getting awards and they start seeing they were trying to make him a puppet, did this become a problem? And then with Eminem, it did the same thing. Eminem was this guy who was free-hearted, could say what he want, you know, and just talk about topics that he felt about. And now he's got to be political because his mouth got him in trouble. Even though he sold 10 million records, now he's looked at as a homophobe. So now the narrative had to be changed. They bring in Elton John for one night and start singing with Eminem. He grabs Eminem's hands. See, Eminem and Elton John are friends. And that was the moment in time in which it turned everything around for Eminem. And he was at their every begging call. And he basically had to do as told. You know, I was like, well, that was the end of him. as being the independent, strong person that was like, yo, I'm not going to do that. But it didn't change until he got to the point where he didn't know what to say anymore. And he started feeling himself and started getting really disrespectful with the music. Started feeling that he was actually the king of rap and the GOAT and the rap god. And now he's in the top 10 of all time MCs. And like, he was really believing he was bigger than the game because of the records he's selling. It's like, dude, you could sell a lot of records because you are Caucasian. You know, you can go and do a tour out in Zagreb in Bucharest and all of these other places and sell out just because they can look at you and resemble. You got to remember, you had to be even a gimmick in your own society. You had to dye your hair blonde and put blue contact lenses in your eyes to sell. Don't forget that. So you had to appease to your own core audience from the very beginning by being a fake blonde with fake blue eyes. Why was that? So no one who does that will ever be considered in hip-hop lore as being genuine. Do you understand that? If any other black artist was to do that, no one in hip-hop would ever respect them. Let that be said too, which gives grounds to Snoop's side. Now, the actual thing that's the disconnect here that many people don't seem to understand. Snoop has been around since 1990. Okay? 1991 Deep Cover comes out and Snoop Doggy Dogg is really heard from this first time we've ever heard him, really. Deep Cover soundtrack. It is now 2021. "30 years later, approximately. 30 years. 3 decades, dog. 3. And I'm going to tell you something that is amazing. In 30 years, Snoop right now is more relevant than 95% of hip-hop. He's more relevant than you, Eminem. I'm going to tell you that right now. He's more relevant in hip-hop than Snoop Dogg. Than Eminem right now. Snoop is. And a lot of you going to be like, what are you talking about, Carcino? Snoop Dogg. And get this, Snoop has about 55 million Instagram followers. Eminem has what? About 30 million? 31, 32? Why? He's the biggest artist in the world. Why does Snoop has more Instagram followers than you? But when Eminem drops an album, it ships to number 1, right? Snoop is known in commercials. Snoop is everywhere. He's doing a show with Martha Stewart. There are old white people who've heard of Eminem but never really listened to his music at all. There are old white people right now that's in their 60s that know Snoop songs. They remember those old Dr. Dre songs from 1992. And even the ones he did in 90, Sexual Seduction, they remember these songs. They don't even have to remember the songs. They look and say, oh, that's Snoop Dogg. People that should never even know who he is look and say, that's Snoop. Not saying Snoop is the greatest rapper of all times and should be in the top 10, but he's iconic in hip-hop lore. He changed hip-hop for a short period of time, but from 1991 to about 95, Snoop Dogg was the biggest thing in hip-hop. He changed a culture and brought the West Coast to a prominence to where East Coast people was even bumping it. And then they was like, y'all ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg? Well, let it be known then. We don't give up. We know East Coast in the motherfucking house. You think anybody else had the balls to do that on a stage? Now, granted, years later, he did go corporate and start blaming Suge. He created that atmosphere. No, Snoop, you did that. Come on now. So Snoop do be full of it sometimes. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted here. He is full of it. But what made him have that tone? And that's what Eminem is talking about, really. Not just what he was saying. It was the tone in which he was saying it. And he's right. That was 100% diss. That was 100% disrespectful of Eminem. And it was meant to be. He started it off raw. He started it off with, no white rappers will ever get respect in this game. Let's keep it with thou wow. I'm like, oh wow. Snoop ain't wasting no time. He went all the way in. All the way in. Now, has Eminem done things to make Snoop go on this rant that he did? It wasn't really a rant. It was really a statement. It was a real statement. And to me, I thought it was worthy. I thought it was worthy. Snoop wanted to let it be known that, hey, this ain't what it is, bro. When Eminem came out in his heyday, his viewership ratings, he had 78% Caucasian that was buying his music in his heyday. 78%. And he had about 9%. 9% was African American. It was 7% Hispanic, and then the rest was others. Now, when you listening to people listening to Eminem's music, you know what you got? 78% Caucasian, 11% Hispanic. The African Americans have dropped down to 7%. And that's in 2021. And the rest is others. The Hispanics have went ahead of the blacks when it comes to listening to Eminem's music. His Caucasian base has stayed the same of the people that listen to his music. But now that the Hispanics have went in front of the African Americans, you can see the number differentials change. He's not selling as much as he used to. his albums were tanking. Because if we don't listen to the music, this is our music, not Hispanics' music. This is our music. Blacks and whites and Caucasians, most of them, they follow what they think is the trend. They know, like, look, this is not our genre, but we want to be cool, and all the cool kids are doing this, and the cool kids are wearing that. The cool kids are doing this, so let's follow the cool kids. When you saw a white guy walking around in a Nisi suit back in the days, and you're like, dude, why are you wearing a Nisi? Man, I don't know. All the cool kids in school are wearing it. There's black, so I want to fit in. So I said, Ma, I need an Nisi suit. She's like, what is an Nisi suit? So when they start doing that, they're following that trend. And if blacks weren't saying, oh, this is cool and this is dope, they ain't gonna mess with it. And his fan base was seeing that. And now it has dropped off. And now the people that's up there is Hispanics now. You have whites and Hispanics, Caucasians and Hispanics buying your music more than African Americans. Our number drops, your numbers are going to drop. Because most of the people are going to say, oh, well, they're not even dealing with Eminem. Eminem just dropped some new stuff, but they ain't even listening to it. They are not even talking about it. So, I guess Eminem ain't popping no more. And this is what's happened to his career. Now, he's gone to more alternative. So he can just get a whole new crowd because he knows this hip-hop rap thing ain't working. So now let me go change my flow up and my style to go do alternative music, to go into a whole new genre of music. Now he take the blue contacts out. He's got his regular hair. Now I'm not afraid to take a stand, everybody, because the blonde and the blue eyes weren't working no more. Now he's just not afraid. Now I'm not afraid to not wear these contact lenses. Now I'm not afraid to dye my hair blonde. Now I could just say I'm me. Because this is my last glass. I'm gone. That's why I'm back rapping. I was retired and I came back because my record company was going under. Now, Snoop also been hearing, Eminem have this imperious way, like he is the ruler of hip hop. And Snoop basically is sick of the media portraying Eminem in this light, and everyone else just has to follow suit. He was giving respect to Dr. Dre. Like, look, you a product of Dr. Dre. You've gotten out of control with this, I'm a god, why be a king when I could be a god? And all that stuff you've been rapping about, like you really are the king of this thing, and you're not. You're not. And it's disrespectful to believe that because of record sales, your music or your rap patterns and all this stuff that you're saying is better than the people that was actually doing it. Can Eminem rap? Yes, but there's songs he cannot do. He can't make this music. His music has got a lot of words, it's witty, but it's soulless. That's what he's missing. And Snoop was letting you know that. He was tired of Eminem being able to disrespect people and get away with that. So what Snoop was doing was bringing a light to it. Even though, like, dog, you in our camp and everything, it's all love, but I gotta keep it 1,000. White rappers will get no respect in this game. I mean, he put it out blatantly when he started it because he wanted to make sure that he was clear, he was concise, and said, you are a product of Dr. Dre. Without Dr. Dre, Eminem would not be where he is. He wanted to let and remind the public. So it wasn't about dissing you, Eminem. But you took it as a diss because he was putting you back in your place. You were gotten out of line. You felt you could disrespect anybody you want. And nobody was going to give. It's fun and cute when you do it. Anybody else do it, they got to be held under, hey, you disrespected such and such. Eminem be like, oh, hey, Eminem, man, he's at it again. He took shots at Rihanna. He took shots at everybody. And Chris Brown thing. Oh, man, Eminem's just crazy. See, and he wanted to end that. He wanted to end that false narrative and say, listen, if you want to do that, and you wanted to put, I'm going to be clear. These are the people Eminem can't deal with. He can't deal with LL. He can't deal with Rakim. He can't. It's not for Eminem. It's for the listeners. He is letting you know reality. You've been caught in the matrix for too long, believing this lie about Eminem for years. When MGK came and knocked him off that high horse, and the panic that went through Eminem, it took him 2 weeks to come out with a response. Over 2 weeks, there was nothing. He's got to get all the writers and everybody around him to get his muse back to come and rap. Because he was stuck. For the first time in his career, he was stuck. No one had ever done that. And then what they do? Sabotage MGK as much as he can because they was from the same label. Dirty Politics is the reason why he even came after you. He was a fan of you. But when you have an elitist status and quo in hip-hop, this is what happens. Snoop brought a light to that, and it was great for him to do because it was the truth. Eminem was like, dog, we from the same camp. We on the same team. So I understand that too. I understand he's saying, man, we on the same team, but he's not. He's not signed to Aftermath. Snoop is not signed to Eminem. He's not on Shady Records. The hell you mean y'all on the same team? When the last time you been on a Snoop Dogg song, Snoop Dogg record? Snoop wasn't gonna let you embarrass him on a record. That's the video I got, and Snoop Dogg told y'all, I'm not finna do a record with dude. He ain't finna embarrass me on the record. You remember that? That's the video I got that did about 3 million views. Real talk. That'll probably be at the end of this video when we're done. So you'll get a chance to see that and hear Snoop actually say that. But it's not about Eminem's rapping ability. It's not about his skill. It's about bringing reality back to life. Snoop was doing it on a platform that was large, and he was the first artist I've seen do that. Now Eminem wants to apologize to Rihanna. Now he wants to apologize to all these people. He always does this, then comes out and does an apology on his show when he wants to do something to sell records. This and Snoop Dogg was going to give him fame. Believe me, he knew that. He wanted to be careful in how he wordplayed it and throw it like it was a fun jab thing, like I'm jabbing you back because I'm confused over what you said. But I'm not going to go too far with it because I could piss off a lot of people. Believe me, Eminem knows Snoop Dogg got more Instagram followers than him. He knows that Snoop is iconic. He knows Snoop got more popularity, if not more, if not bigger than Eminem. There's no way on this earth Snoop Dogg could probably walk and people not say, hey, that's Snoop Dogg. Eminem, not so much. Some people might, he looks familiar. He like that white rap kid. What's his name? Eminem. That's who that looked like. That's Slim Shady. But Snoop? Hey, that's Snoop. And I'm talking Japan, Germany, all the places you've been. They know Snoop. So what Snoop was doing really wasn't dissing you. He was bringing truth to light. And you didn't like his tone. And the last part of it, Eminem said, that's what did it for me. When he said, there's some music that I could do without that. That hurt him. And I understood Why that hurt Eminem? Because it basically said your whole career, your contribution to music, to the hip hop, we could do without it. It did nothing for the culture. It did nothing. You saying like I could do without? If like in hip hop, they saying, man, music I could do without. Man, they got songs like, man, I can't do without that song. I gotta have that. How many of those are Eminem records? What song did Eminem make that you say I can't do without? I gotta have that song. Stan? You know, I mean, that's a strong line to say. I'm not gonna lie. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. It's your boy Carcino here. We just getting it real. I just went and grabbed something to drink. Don't worry about it. Don't black out on me. Subscribe to the page. Hope y'all are liking the video. Might be a bit long, but I felt it was needed. Normally you get this on the Patreon, on the Carcino for Life Patreon, where we will go into either more detail about this, things that you didn't know. Believe me, this is long and it covered a lot, but there's some things that's been left out. And we're going to talk about that. It's some money thing that went down. We'll do that on Patreon. Now, it wasn't Eminem's fault, though. Let me say that now. It wasn't Eminem's fault about that. Well, we'll say that for the Patreon. But I could see why Snoop would blame him for that. But it wasn't his fault. Now, back to the subject at hand. So when Eminem made that little light jab and Snoop said what he said, man, Snoop was like, man, what? And then Eminem was like, I understand that, Dre. I wouldn't be here without Dr. Dre. I wouldn't do this without that. I already know that. But you don't show that. I never once really hear Eminem claiming that he knows what he knows or he's doing all the things that he's doing. And he respects like Dr. Dre, Eminem. Like he's going less and less and less with Dre now. And it's more and more and more about him. But you know, he don't really put that respect out there as much as he used to. It's all about him and being on top of the game and like he's ruling rap. Now he's bragging about sales. It's like, really? What you bragging about sales for? We know you gonna sell some records, but should you been on a song with Tupac and Biggie? This is 10 years ago. Y'all using Tupac and throwing his name around when y'all warm with Ja Rule? Was that cool? Nope. That wasn't cool. You getting to executive produce a Tupac album? Why you? Was you the biggest Tupac fan in the world? A Biggie and Tupac song get put out that they did together, and they let you come in and produce the record? Change the beat and put your Eminem beat on it and let you get credit for that? That's good? Why you? This is what Snoop is talking about in that message. This is why he has the tone he has. They put you in a position to strip mine hip hop. You're the cover boy face to make it look all legit. Why they went around and strip mined it and you just sat there and said nothing. And now they ain't gonna need you no more. They'll just say you're the Elvis of hip hop. Like your rapping ability meant nothing, and you're very good with words. But don't get it twisted. You are a visitor here. Respect the architect that came before you. Respect this and protect this. If you're invited in someone's house, you don't ever say you're the king of this house. If someone says, hey, you invited into this is our culture thing, and we're inviting you to be a part of it, you cannot say you're the god of it. Do you understand that? That's where your level of disrespect and what you allowed to happen to hip-hop, and you didn't protect it. You left the door open when you came in and let the wolves come in and strip-mined it. To now, it's all this bubblegum pop crap going on, and you're a part of it, Mr. Alternative Rap. I'm not afraid, every morning, let's hold this road together to the storm. Let me know if you've been down the same road. Feel like these walls are closing in. Oh, man. So anyway, Snoop said, man, y'all better pray I don't answer that soft it. When he heard Zeus, that little bar that he put on the Zeus song, Snoop's like, pray I do not answer that soft it. As he put the laughing emojis out there. Oh my goodness. So hopefully this clears a lot of things up. Now, for all the stuff I left out and took out, we'll go back into detail in that on the Patreon. Peace.